They did. They said, "Hey, we hate that guy."
All
Which is
right.
funny.
Stream is live.
Woo.
Yeah, Nameless Fellowship for
Yeah.
session 40.
The
We
big
made it.
4-0.
How does that make you all feel?
Not as bad as a happy stab.
This group is really
Still doing it.
We're about to have a midlife crisis mid-game.
In addition to going through session 40, we now have 50 followers on Twitch. That's cool. Yay!
Yay!
I've done 0 advertising, and somehow people just find their way, and that's great.
They know that we're endearing.
Very much so.
We know that we're chaotic.
Recap. We had rested and went through a large conversation at the riverside in the marshes here, the riverside of the Gorn River, Farron River, I should say. And that conversation was about one person really in particular that wanted to figure out more about themselves and said, hey, if I get this power, perhaps I can do more with it. And then you had, conflicting parties to that being like, whoa, 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 then you might become the very thing that we're fighting. And then you're just, you're going to be evil then. And we're going to have to cut you down because that's what the fellowship does here. All right. That's what's worked for you so far is just killing stuff.
Fight first, talk later.
That's right. Fight first, talk later. So through that conversation, it was really just kind of getting the points out there, making sure that those were all out in the encompassing thoughts of if you replace one, will you simply just put a greater evil right into the seat of power? Will if you decide to go to the Shadowfell, right? Will you get trapped there and you won't be able to return, won't be able to come back? So there's these questions that were kind of brought up in some of the speculation, some of the conversation, which were really important. Regardless of that, it was, where do we go next, right? So we decided to go to a tower because we're still in the process of night. And it didn't seem like you all wanted to go into Thixia, which is the intended stop here to get into Thixia, get the heart, go towards the tower. And figure out what's going on there, that we don't want to go there during nighttime. So we're going to wait a little bit. We can do some things in the meantime. Oh, look, there's one of the larger towers that we've observed, and there seems to be a tower of Mersatra, and they're large, and this one's in the water. We can just kind of water walk to it. So that's what we did. And upon coming here to this massive black stone tower that extends up to 100 feet into the air, you were attacked by these crystalline golem creatures, which have and are fueled by the same orbs that Gilga had collected within the treasury of Lady Trillia's fort.
We got attacked because Paz decided to touch something.
That's true. You were attacked because Paz decided that I really wanted a perma.
I'll take credit for the first one.
The
first one, my bad.
Inside of the lantern, and it seemed to be causing problems with this tower. The Guardians kind of arose, and then they went to defend the tower. So the first level was bare. There wasn't anything in there at all. The black rock, similar to like obsidian with these veins of yellow, had a slight glow to them. The permacrystals of green coming off the lanterns of these statues, which resembled elven mages. That was a lot of lighting in the space. You went up to the mid-level, the second level of the tower, and it transitioned through a good amount of feet of the total tower. And inside of there was just craziness. Absolutely bonkers about what the heck is going on in there. There was bluish orbs sitting in pedestals on platforms with runic maps underneath them. There were these crystals that were similar through the kind of studies and things, that these crystals were the same as the crystals in Balrugar's lair. They seem to have some way about them of getting imbued with magic and then storing it like a battery. And so there was just these different colors, and then there was these arcing electrical currents being fed throughout the tower. And then there was these kind of channeled kind of red crystals that were moving into the pillars and then rising up to the top level here, which you've now gone to the top level. You can see the water falling down from a bowl of bluish kind of crystals that's just kind of flowing the water out. It's being generated. It's this ever pool of water, and then that overflows and then kind of goes down towards the base of the tower. And here we are met with two obelisk-like structures on either side of a platform. There's another pedestal, but then there is a kind of a diamond-shaped object that exists inside of that pedestal. And so there's a lot of things going on here. We haven't had any chance really to investigate those. We haven't had a whole opportunity as this tall, shadowy figure kind of lengthy emerged in this amorphous frame and called themselves a Morsatra. They called themselves someone of great power, that this was their particular tower, and that the conversation began. And in that conversation, it turned into aggression because of certain actions that were taken.
Who could say what actions?
Alleged.
It's hard to pinpoint really what could have done this.
Yes.
In the defense of the person of who may have committed these actions, there may have been trickery and deception.
Never.
One
An
could argue
outside
that this
party
could have
knew
happened
very
no
well
matter
what they were doing and
So-
instigated.
So, arising from the walls as they kind of shifted in different panels, there's two segments at the back end of the tower here that these golems emerged from. They're kind of these cavity spaces where the golems are stored. Perhaps there's something about them and why they're emerging from there. Regardless, they were brought to action. Similar fashion of the lantern at the first floor. Yeah, they were brought, and then now this kind of creature that is flying has flyby, can't be taken attack opportunities, is very quick with his spectral wings and things. So we're in the midst of combat, right? We've been fighting and we've been showcasing that the large golems have insane strength. They take 2 slams, they come downwards. They also have some sort of overcharge ability where they explode outwards, dealing damage. And then now we have some sort of healing, that they actually kind of regenerate themselves and their crystalline structures using their power core. The other creature, which is referred to as one of the Morsatra here, now kind of turn into what this is, showcase that they have some way of enslaving using the tower. They seem to kind of spawn chains out of the tower wrapping around, and then that had a kind of a restraint as well as a paralysis-like condition. Okay, then we have spell casting. Seems they have dominate person here is the one, and that is really all we've covered. And still in the second round of combat, so we haven't really seen all of what they can do. They're 15 feet in the air. We do have a condition that's been placed. This is synaptic static. That's what's on there as far as the condition is concerned, and that's going to add essentially a if I recall, a D6. It's going to subtract away from attacks, ability checks, and things like that. So that gives us a little bit of a recap of everything. All in all, we have not really investigated the tower a whole lot. We've just been kind of pressing up, seeing what's going on. We haven't really gone through some of the mechanics of this. All right. So we're going to come into combat. We're going to start off with the end of turn of the Morsatra, who's just taken the action to dominate, continues their presence floating and kind of flying in the background, which some of you are able to see with your dark vision, some are not. And then at the end of their turn, they can make a check, and that's essentially to break out of the synaptic static. So that's going to be kind of that check. Now they're concentrating on the effect of the dominate. And so it's going to kind of end that with an intelligence saving throw. And that is also going to prompt this. I gotta make sure I look through your DC here, Wingsong, because I always forget.
It's pretty high.
I think it's 17. 17 doesn't beat a 28.
Who would have thought?
So that synaptic static
Who
is
would have
going to
seen that one
end
coming?
at the end of their turn. Now, fortunately for you, Gilga, you actually rolled at the end of our turn order. So you are going to actually start this off for your party here, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I gotta say that's pretty funny.
Now,
Can you just describe what he sees when he comes up though, for like just fun?
Just a
Can I
shit show.
describe what he sees when he comes up?
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just casually
what's he
coming up. That's how
seeing?
I'm starting. I'm just casually coming up after seeing the
Like he's
ores and
holding
being
onto the railing.
fascinated.
He's like looking around,
He's
like,
like
oh my
talking about
god,
his own thing, like,
look
and
at
another
all
thing
this,
about the crystals.
look at all
Yeah,
this
Yeah, just
green
look at all the
dark
crystals.
shit. It looks so nice and bougie. Oh my god, he's being beaten to death.
You probably see the black
Probably not
marbling
even that,
around
just like, ooh, that
Wingsog
hurts.
has been crushed around Wingsog, has been bludgeoned, bleeding profusely from multiple different lacerations of some of the shards of the black marbling of the floor ripped up and scratched and cut them, and then they're also got some bludgeoning from that debris as well. Beyond that, I think I think Thothing and Varys as well as Paz are doing a fantastic job up at one of the other golems. And these golems, they're crystalline, so they have kind of breaks in their structure, but that's it. There's not really anything else that's there. Their height is quite impressive, right? They stand above 15 feet in their height, and they can continue that footage a little bit, but they're more wide, and they have kind of a almost like an oversized upper area of their bodies, right? So their arms are longer and they kind of hang down towards their legs, and they're almost like hulking in that way. So it's probably as much as you're gonna get out of this here before we're gonna start.
I'm just gonna climb up, and be like, "Oh my god, what's going on? Wait, song."
Why do you try to mimic me?
I just looked at the line.
That's how you imitated me. So I'm just like, I feel like it's only right that I do it back.
He's made it sound like a little child.
Oh my god! Alright, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a bonus action, cast Hex. And I'm gonna designate it on this one here. So
Okay.
just let you know, want to burn off that innate, and then I am going to, because I want to kill this guy in one go. I don't know how much HP he has. I'm gonna use lightning bolt.
You're very funny and cute.
It's only now been wounded. So.
You're gonna use lightning bolt.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the lightning bolt. It should give me a range.
Yeah, somebody did not get the
Originating
memo
from me.
from last time.
Yeah, so
Should we-
originating from me.
Before you cast this, just be forewarned that through the encounter with these two creatures, which we're going to say that you probably went through, that these creatures have resistances and immunities to many different things. And given by one person's spell casting, that a lightning bolt might not do the damage that you.
Yeah, it might not be as effective for that killing it in one go thing as you might think it might be.
Just prompting
Well-
you, so you're aware.
Well, that's very good.
I mean, learn by experience, by all means.
Yeah, which means thunder damage probably won't do shit.
Mm.
Opposite.
Yeah, and I technically can't use that because it's radiant damage. So the only thing I think could hurt him is force damage, because there's not a lot of creatures that have force damage. So I'm just going to use magic missile then.
Okay.
Cast it at, how much damage can magic missile do? 1d4 for 3, correct?
Yep. You fire 3 bolts for a first level cast, essentially 3d4, and then you also will add 1 + 1 to each bolt.
Plus 1 for each level. I just cast that first level. I don't like Wingsong that much. All right,
I'm
that's
still
1.
alive, you know. I can
Downgraded from a
hear
third level
you.
spell to a first level spell.
What?
You were gonna hit it with the third level, and then you're like, nah, I don't really like it that much. Here's just the
I
first
don't
level.
like him that much, too.
Not that worried.
Yeah. All right, and the third one going off. So that's 4, 4, 3. That's 11 points of damage.
All right, 11 points of damage as you fire off pew pew pew. So
Pew, pew, pew,
And
as one
still
says.
only wounded.
As the magic missiles emanate outwards, arcing around into the crystalline creature here. Force damage is kind of blunts off many different shards of the crystal, and it begins to kind of fall
So-
down around them onto the ground.
So, Deem, I do have a question. So, when I have Hex, and I technically hit an opponent with an attack, does it count as 1 Hex or technically 3 Hex?
You deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to the target whenever you hit with an attack. Also, choose one ability when you cast a spell, which you haven't asked what you're
Oh,
choosing.
I've
Normally
asked for
it's-
strength. I'll do
normally it's
strength.
yeah, it's always strength unless you
Always.
tell. Yeah. So it has to be an attack made against them, not necessarily a spell that's being casted. So if you're doing a spell and it's prompting for a saving throw, right, that's technically not going to give you the damage of Hex. Because you're doing a
Technically, it's not a saving throw. It's just an automatic hit damage.
Well,
just
that's what. So attack is used in a general sense. So it has to be a spell attack that you're making against the target, either melee or range, and that's going to give you the hex damage. But technically, this doesn't have a saving throw, and it's not an attack that you're making against them. So your hex would not translate over to magic missile.
All right,
Because
that's
you're not
fine.
making any sort of attack against them as far as a melee or range spell attack.
That's fine. It's good. Then that's my turn.
Mhm.
I think you're wondering if
All
you would get a
good.
D6 for each magic missile that you fire. Was that what
Yeah,
you were
I
wondering?
was truly hoping I could
I
be
think
OG
it's
like
really
that.
hard to
Yeah.
buff magic missile because it always hits.
Yeah.
So the wording is very intentional that it's not an attack or anything because they don't want that.
You don't want to give it that bonus.
But like a
That's
swim
pretty much-
spell,
Okay, guys. It
firebolt
is.
counts for both instances because you're making 2 separate ranged attacks. If both characters had hex, because you can't hit the same target with that.
Yeah.
All right, Happy's getting prepped. Wing Song, you're up
I'm
next.
getting prepped. I'm getting prepped. I had to warm it up in here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting fans 2 on. Anyways, crumpled into the ground, beaten bloody, almost dead. Wingsong's going to lift up his face towards the crystalline beast, this monster of a thing. And he's going to grab his schwam, and he's going to stare it dead in the eyes and be like, "You want to go, motherfucker? You want to feel what it means to die? I'll beat the shit out of you now." And then he says, "Monkey time!" And he's gonna polymorph into a giant ape.
Okay, you're gonna probably move into a giant ape.
Yeah.
I suddenly realized the phrase "experience is the best teacher" will never apply to Wingsong.
At least he's in a form
Just
where
realized.
At least he remembered.
at least he now has hit points to back up his stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
That's really not reassuring.
Right, you should have control over that.
About it.
I'm a monkey.
Bless his heart, honestly.
So you are still concentrating the polymorph, so the concentration is still going to pass over into your giant ape form. Also,
Um,
with the polymorph, you have to understand that you are literally this. So you're
Also, there's no. It doesn't end after concentration really like goes away.
No, it does.
it does.
If
It
you
does.
lose if you lose concentration on polymorph, you will revert back to Wingsong.
And it doesn't matter. I'm a fucking ape.
I also think
Yeah,
you have
that's
to
also
understand
gonna-
that he won't understand that he is.
That's gonna
just
take
an
like 30 plus
I'm
damage
a
per
monkey.
hit.
Okay, leave me alone, you little fucking soot.
you have a 7 intelligence, and you do not
Right.
speak language.
Not very
So
different.
just a
I
fly.
have about the same intelligence as Paz, so it doesn't really mean much.
All right, so your action is to cast the spell. So your action is to
Actually-
polymorph.
Yeah.
I'm slightly smarter by one.
All right,
Yeah,
you
you're
have nothing.
slightly smarter than a giant.
So you have nothing accessible to you as a bonus action in this form. All you have is a movement. So are you taking any movement at all?
Yes, I will take some movement, and that is to move left.
Okay.
Great.
And I'm gonna be a big monkey, and I'm gonna be like roaring, monkey, ba-da-da-da-da.
You inspire me.
And I'm gonna be like guarding, I'm gonna be guarding, like Gilga and Soot, like protective big mom monkey.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move you back a little bit because we can't share tokens with the two huge creatures here. So
Oh, okay. I didn't realize I was in it.
They were,
Sorry.
yeah, no, they were both. I was like, oh, they're both the same spaces. This is the token art. So that is basically there. You're just moving your posture, defending, walking in your forearms here, typical ape style, beating your chest a little bit. All right, so you're up next.
Just my eyes are just gonna go wide for a second. I'm just like, oh, okay. And I'm going to start dashing left 15, 30 feet as I'm trying to get a line of sight past these two. And I'm gonna throw 2 dark little spheres of Eldritch Blast at Ugly Shadow Man.
Okay.
So dark in here now.
I think it was a lady.
Yeah, you don't have dark vision anymore.
Yeah, you don't.
I know. It's like, damn.
All right, 14 is not
Welcome-
going to land. You fire off.
welcome
the first
to
Eldritch
what I
Blast, it
see.
Flies and
I
dodges.
don't like it.
Yep. First one misses. Second one, that's it.
24 hits. All right, 7 points
7
of
points.
damage. It's going to succeed on the Constitution saving throw with a 12.
Yep. And just I'm going to quick cast another Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Please.
You just bleed.
So burn 2 sorcery points and another one.
A shot in the mist.
20
I
hits.
fired and I missed. And I fired
Damn
again.
it.
All right, 9
A
points of
five.
force damage dealt. Succeeding
pass
on
that.
a Constitution saving throw with a 10.
And I woke up. Fired again.
I missed.
I fired 2 times. I missed
I
both.
missed both times. I fired. And I hit something.
16
But it wasn't what I was
misses.
aiming at, so I
Dodge
guess
out
I
of the way.
missed.
So you fire off a succession, rapid fire of these Eldritch Blasts. 1, 2, it's just massive. A couple of are hitting in the spectral wings as they're kind of sidestepping, moving. Kind of a scythe in the side of the hand. It's kind of holding it outwards, forming of the black shadowy energy in the blades. It's decrepit and looking, kind of stares in the direction of you.
And with that, that'll just be the end of my turn.
All right. So I think you're up next.
What the hell am I gonna do now? I have it anyway, but I just don't know. Because I can't see. Can't see Shadow Person.
You saw
You'll
my
know it.
you saw my Eldritch Blasts firing, so
That's true. But I do have one of these bad boys right in front of me, and
Yeah.
don't know what's happened to Nairi. No, let's
Wing song, she could have. I would have just been like, "Oh, I think I'm going to hit you now."
No, we'll keep it simple. Just take care of the problem in front of us.
All right, swinging the mace.
Oh, almost.
14 is not going to connect. Coming across with the bludgeoning of the mace, you swing.
all those
as
ones.
the golem
Yeah.
lifts up its leg and
Rude,
sidesteps backwards.
disrespectful.
Dodges out of the way of it.
That's payback for my double nat 20 on the
Mm.
disadvantage reaction I had last week. No, because that's gold.
You were just too strong last time.
I will end my turn there.
All right, Varys, you're up next.
Wonderful. What was the button to attack with versatile weapons again?
Hold down V.
Makes sense. Could have guessed it.
V for versatile.
To attack it with
It
my
should work.
quarterstaff. Haha!
All right, 22 is going to connect. 15 points of bludgeoning damage as it does.
I'll do it again.
It's 28. 15
Aha!
points of bludgeoning damage.
Guys putting in damage with that.
Yeah.
Plus 9 damage. Jesus Christ.
29 total dealt.
I don't think I can do anything as a bonus action to help here. No, because I already used that. That's going to be my turn.
Okay. So coming across the 2 strikes of the quarterstaff, smashing away at the bits and pieces of the crystal, the bludgeoning damage of the quarterstaff is significantly more impactful. Pickaxe striking almost into the crystal structures, hitting multiple pieces off of the left leg. Ending your turn there. Paz, you're up next.
Okay, so giant monkey to the north. Fighting to the next. Can't see where that is. Don't know Nyara's about to try and go. So,
Yeah, just come
Everything's
take my kill.
fine.
yeah, pretty much that's what I'm doing.
Everything is totally fine.
I think you owe me one anyways.
Good. We're right here. We'll just work for it, so I'm not in the token space.
Okay.
And yeah, we're just gonna start striking it.
All right, rapid fire. Go ahead and hold down Alts for the advantage for the flank of this particular
One.
large creature.
10.
All right, first strike is the 30, which is going to hit 10 points of bludgeoning damage dealt.
2.
Second strike, 28 connects, deals 13 points of bludgeoning damage. So you go in for this final strike coming across, dealing bludgeoning damage. You can kind of hit towards the back of the legs. Now it kind of falls down onto one leg. You kind of run up vertical of the actual crystalline golem and then go in for a strike at the center of the back, kind of strike into where you believe the orb is, and some of the crystals shatter and shard directly into the orb, cracking it and brittle, kind of almost like powers down and topples forward upon itself, which Varus and Thothay kind of have to move a little bit out of the way of, right? Because it's coming nearby them, so the sidestep off to the right or the left.
Then the only thing I know is that what's her name went off in this direction, so I'm gonna head.
You have really good vision.
I can't see anything, so I don't have dark vision.
Man is blind.
Nathan, I
I'm
know
just
that you
kind of
can't
going based
tell.
off sound at this point.
Yeah.
Nathan, I know you can't tell based on how efficient that was, but the first time around was a real steep learning curve for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in your turn?
No, I think that's gonna end up being yeah, that's gonna be it. Actually, no. Yeah, it's gonna be it.
Wait.
What?
Nope, forgot.
I'm not
Carry on.
sure about that.
Hold on.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right.
Oh
Ending your
my
turn, we now
God.
come to the one in front of you. The giant ape here, Wing Song, Polymorph, is going to go in for a success of 2 slams into your giant ape form. First strike comes down, an 18 that is going to connect through, smashes into you, doing 22 points bludgeoning damage as it crashes into your center chest. You are going to fail your Constitution saving throw with a 6. That is going to revert you back into your Wing Song form. As you do, you kind of fill the occupied space in your Gilga, falling downwards. It then is going to step forward as it is. It's going to lift up its leg and crush you. As it does to smash down on top of your body.
I can't
Deals
do it.
31 points of bludgeoning damage. Wing
can't fucking
Song
stand it.
is crushed into the marble flooring as it lifts its leg up. Takes a step down. It then is going to step over its body up towards you, Gilga, as it just moves its body
It was like
and then
only
goes
a
in
little more
to
effective
strike
than
you
mud.
next. Ending its turn, Nair, you're up. You are
That was-
dominated. The voice inside of your
could've-
mind penetrates outwards towards you to go after Thothic, the one that worships.
A
Gotcha.
2 on the con check. That sucks.
Yeah.
You
I'm
just
sorry,
said
I'm
save the
still
contract.
reeling
Hello?
from that.
Yogi
I'm
that worships
so-
Taylor.
That is so
So
unlucky.
stupid. So stupid. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Whew. Anyway,
we
murdering my
didn't
friends. I'm
factor that
sorry.
one in 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god, no, that went about as well as expected. Is the thing.
It went as well as normally like wing spells.
That went like
go.
as well as every Wing Song plan has ever gone.
The mental
Oh.
imagery of that is ridiculous. This comes up for center sock of like the ape's chest, and then all of a sudden the ape turns back into Wing Song. He's like,
Yeah,
"Ah!"
I bet he just
It's
like
like a
you.
Looney Tunes
so-
cartoon. It gets stomped down. He's like accordion, just up and down.
Like a Tom and Jerry
What?
film.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Cannot stand it. Okay. Okay, so voice is ringing out in my head. Is there any kind of, and this is a question in general, when you're charmed, is there any kind of visual cue at all, like, or no?
So the best thing that I can phrase to you a dominate person, which is different than charm. Charm is like a hallucination. You're kind of in this euphoria-like state, and you're like, "Hey, everything's my friends. I love it." You're like on nitrous oxide, right? You're on laughing gas. This is more like you have tunnel vision, right? So you are still have perceptions of things around you, but you're more focused on whatever it is you're being directed to. You have been given a command, and that command essentially is to attack Thothic, to what that means is just swing away, right, into your mind, and that is almost like this itch that you can't scratch, and it's driving you nearly mad from that, right? And so you need to scratch it. You have to do it. And so you are compelled to go forth and strike. There's no saving throw that you get at this point. There's nothing that you have. Your mind is completely dominated into an imprisonment, and that focus and that itch is put towards Gothic.
Gotcha. Okay. I think right when it took hold, there might have been almost like a moment of being very, very silent, and then Nyera sort of, I don't know, lets out a yell, but charges directly for Gothic, which is very conveniently within 30 feet.
Yeah. You know, healer's got to be near enough to people to heal, right?
I know, who would have thought? And when you're dominated, because this is a new experience for me, in this context, when you're dominated, do you have any, like, are you able to communicate regularly, even though you're focused, or is it just fully entirely?
No, unless you have a command to verbally communicate, then you cannot verbally communicate. You can make essentially yourself in a combat scenario, right? These are now your enemies, right? Particularly Thothic is your enemy. So you can say maybe something on the lines of like, I'm going to put you down, right? Or you can say, I'm going to cut you down, or certain things you'd say to your enemies. But beyond that, your fighting style, I would say, is very much so charge in, attack.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if it's like puppety or if it's like fully just you determined. Sounds like it is the latter.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as like dominate, I try not to control player characters, but that would be on the realm of it, me taking over your character and telling you.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, in this context, new.
Yeah, this is a high level spell. I wouldn't imagine a lot of people are impacted by it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, running up, let out a yell, just face morphs into just rage, fully charges Gothic.
Nyera? What are you doing here?
No kind of recognition of the name or like any kind of stop or falter in the slightest. Goes in for a swing.
17 connects into
Oh,
the
shit.
shield of Gothic, bashes into it.
Yes.
The whistling of the blade crushes into the shield.
Alright, wait, something else to focus on here, Nyera. I don't know what I did to upset you.
Could have made me in the back. Oh, damn!
Oh, damn!
Second attack coming.
Yeah, second attack only fueled on by the miss. I'm not giving a corny line, but another angry yell probably.
Okay.
Oh, so close to a 19.
That was almost an idea.
Yeah.
14.
I know.
Again, bashes into the shield. The blade, the Bane of Berithun, is strong enough to break your shield. The steel alone and some magical
Ooh, sorry,
properties
bud.
to it as it crushes into the shield, but your shield stays strong.